The story opens in the future, where humanity has built weather control devices in an effort to combat global warming. But instead of saving human life, unexpectedly, the device ends up causing a new ice age. By the year 2045, the remnants of human civilization live in underground bunkers scattered in various places to avoid the extremely cold temperatures. In one of the outposts or colonies, an alarm sounds as a warning, followed by the screams of two terrified people running down a corridor, being chased by something. Meanwhile, in a different colony, Colony 7, a young man named Sam, while fixing a satellite antenna, sees an old, sick man being forced out of the colony. A man named Mason then prepares to shoot just as the man asks to be let go. Sam, who witnesses this, tries to intervene, telling Mason to let him go without having to shoot him. However, Mason doesn't seem to care, and he kills the man anyway.
This is survival.
Everyone in the colony lives in fear with limited resources. The old man was killed because he had contracted the flu. The last time they had a flu outbreak, the colony killed 20 people in less than a week. After that incident, a rule was established. If someone gets sick, they will be quarantined, and if they don't recover, they must choose between being shot or walking out into the snowy expanse. Everyone in Colony 7 works hard to look after each other and continues to store and plant seeds in order to survive. Their numbers are no longer as many as when they first started. This is because food supplies have become increasingly scarce each year. Amidst this struggle, rumors spread about a habitable place with warm weather and plenty of food supplies. But for Sam, those rumors are nothing more than fairy tales because he believes there is no such place in a world covered in snow. Sam then went to see Briggs, the leader of the colony, to inform him that Mason had broken the rules by not giving a choice to those who had been infected. Briggs was surprised when he heard this, but there was something even more important that he had to deal with first. In the communications room, Chopper reported that they had received an SOS signal from Colony number 5, but after that, there had been no response to any messages sent back. Upon learning this, Briggs then planned to hold an emergency meeting. From there, Briggs asked Sam to go see Victor, the person responsible for all the farms in this place. Unfortunately, Victor also had bad news. The newborn baby rabbits had died, and out of the 12 rabbits left, there was only one female, who until now refused to mate with the other rabbits, causing their future food supply to dwindle even further. Meanwhile, Briggs went to see Mason to reprimand him for his actions, but Mason stood by his decision, saying that even if the infected were allowed to leave, they would eventually come back here and try to seize the food supplies. On the other hand, Sam went to see his girlfriend, Kay, who asked him to give some protein pills for the rabbits. Here, Colony 7 has managed to access a space satellite that can be used to monitor the entire world. From their observations, Kay discovered that the weather modification technology is believed to still exist and is buried somewhere. Because of this, Kay will continue to search for and try to find it. A short while later, all the members of Colony 7 gathered for an emergency meeting. At this moment, Sam realizes that there is a couple, Dexter and his wife, who have been secretly hiding their flu illness. He chooses not to tell anyone because he doesn't want the two of them to be executed by Mason later on. Not long after, Briggs appeared and informed everyone about the situation in Colony number 5, where he announced that he would lead a team to inspect the colony. Mason protested, saying that they shouldn't waste any resources in difficult times like these. However, despite that, Briggs stuck to his decision to inspect Colony number 5. From there, Briggs then asked Dexter to volunteer. But here, Sam actually volunteered to take Dexter's place, as did Victor's son Graydon, who also wanted to volunteer, even though his father didn't approve. After their team was complete, Briggs then handed over command of Colony 7 to Kay until they returned. But when the meeting was over, Dexter's wife suddenly sneezed, causing everyone to panic. From there, both couples were then quarantined, while Mason protested Briggs' decision to make Kay the temporary leader. This then made Brick angry and he scolded Mason. Brick told Mason to wait for his return, at which point they would decide what to do about Dexter and his wife.
Really not your decision to make, is it?
The next day, Briggs and the others began their mission. The group had to travel a long way, enduring the biting cold. After crossing the abandoned city, they found a weather control device that was no longer working. A short while later, they arrived at a bridge, and carefully, the three of them began to cross it. From there, they found a car with a dead man beside it, clutching a pistol in his hand. When they looked closer, they realized the man had apparently ended his own family's life before finally taking his own. Now, after a very long journey, the three of them found a wrecked helicopter, where they used it as a place to get some rest.
Good to hear your voice, Briggs.
What about you? Got any news? We're camped out at the helicopter for the night, so we should reach Colony 5 by noon tomorrow.
The next day, they finally arrived at Colony number 5. As soon as they entered, they were shocked to find blood at the entrance, and also when they were downstairs. Colony number 5 was supposed to house 50 people, but now there wasn't a single person there to greet them. To be cautious, Briggs gave Graydon a pistol, and then they continued to explore the entire area of the place. In the middle of their search, they suddenly heard screams coming from a locked room. Inside the dimly lit room, they eventually found a man, specifically named Leland, who then politely asked for the door to be carefully closed once again. When asked, Leland explained what had actually happened. A few days ago, the people in Colony 5 managed to repair the communication antenna, and at that time, they received a message containing a video of a man explaining that he had fixed the weather modification device and succeeded in melting the ice layer. The problem was, that person needed seeds for planting. The members of Colony 5 who heard this were immediately interested, so they tried to find the person using the location that had been provided. But unfortunately, instead of finding him, they were followed by something that eventually entered the colony. Hearing this, Briggs ordered them to bring some supplies from here, and at the same time, they intended to take Leland with them. However, out of sheer fear, Leland firmly refused to leave the room, closing the door again and leaving Briggs and the others outside. From there, the three of them then heard a mysterious scream echoing throughout the corridor. Curious, they then tried to investigate. But when they entered a certain room, they were shocked to discover several cannibals devouring the colony's inhabitants. The sound of gunfire unexpectedly caused more cannibals to wake up and start chasing Briggs and the others. Briggs threw a stick of dynamite to slow them down. However, at this point, Graydon was accidentally separated from the group and was then surrounded by two cannibals who attacked him brutally. Briggs and Sam finally appeared and fought the cannibals, killing them one by one. But even so, Graydon's life could not be saved. With no other choice, Sam and Briggs then decided to get out of this place. They fought incredibly hard and with great determination to fend off every single cannibal that relentlessly tried to attack them, including a particularly intense moment when Briggs bravely fought a cannibal and skillfully managed to shoot him. What Briggs did in that critical moment apparently enraged all of the other cannibals present, including their formidable leader, who then shouted furiously and menacingly, So, after getting outside, Briggs threw dynamite to destroy and block the exit for the cannibals. From there, they walked through the snow until they found the same helicopter and decided to spend the night there. While resting, Briggs then shared a story from when he was still in the military. At that time, he was on a rescue mission where about 20 people had gathered in a stadium. The soldiers distributed food while the doctors treated the sick. But when the food supplies ran out, people started to show brutal behavior. Those who were armed began to take things from those who were unarmed. Then, when there was nothing left to take, those who were armed began to decide who deserved to live and who had to die. Mason was part of Briggs's unit at the time, and together they decided to leave the shelter in search of a new place where such problems would never happen again. The next morning, when they wanted to return, the two of them discovered that the cannibals had apparently followed their trail. Worried that the cannibals would follow them all the way to the colony, Briggs then planned to stop them by blowing up the bridge. But unfortunately, just as the explosives were set, a strong wind blew out the fuse. Realizing this, Briggs quickly tried to relight it, even though he had to struggle against several cannibals who tried to attack him. Briggs managed to light the fuse, but as the cannibals kept coming, the dynamite suddenly exploded in his hand. Meanwhile, at Colony 7, Mason had apparently disobeyed orders by taking Dexter and his wife outside to be executed. Mason shot the wife, but just as he was about to shoot Dexter, Kay appeared and threatened to shoot him. As they argued, they heard Sam screaming for help. Dexter took advantage of the distraction to escape, while Kay ran towards Sam, who had already passed out from the cold. But just as Kay was about to reach Sam, a few hours later, Sam, who had woken up from his fainting, informed them that Briggs and Graydon could not be saved. Mason then arrived and quickly handcuffed Sam to the bed, saying that he would be leading the colony from now on. To survive, everyone's food rations would be cut in half, and anyone showing signs of illness would be tested immediately, while those who refused to work would not receive any food. Here, Sam told Mason everything that had happened and asked them to leave this place before the cannibals found them. Unfortunately, Mason didn't believe him, and he then left the room. Fortunately, there was a boy named Rowan who managed to take the handcuff key from Mason and gave it to Sam. From there, Sam went to look for Key and found him tied up in a room. After freeing Key, Sam used Key's computer to search for the location of the video he had seen earlier in Colony 5. At first, they didn't see anything, but after observing the surrounding area, Sam finally found a spot that was free of snow. Realizing this, the pair then took as many seeds and grains as they could and hurried to warn the others. But unfortunately, on their way, they were intercepted by Mason and his men, who demanded that Sam and Key obey orders. However, while they were arguing, a loud noise suddenly came from outside, and when they checked, it turned out to be the cannibals trying to break into the colony. Mason, who finally believed them, immediately gave orders. Everyone who could shoot would be given a weapon, while the rest had to hide. In an instant, the cannibals managed to break in and appeared in several rooms. A cannibal emerged from the air vent right in front of the chopper and killed him, as well as a girl in the hallway who was trying to find shelter. Amidst casualties on both sides, Sam and Kay decided to retreat for the time being, while Victor kept fighting until he lost his life. When Sam and Kay arrived at the hideout, Mason, who had gotten there first, chose to close the door without caring about Sam and Kay, who were still outside. Fortunately, someone stopped Mason, allowing Sam and Kay to get inside the room. Since they couldn't stay there for long, Sam thought of opening the air duct as their way out. Mason protested, saying they would freeze to death if they went outside the colony, but Sam, Kay, and the other residents ignored him. Sam then handed Mason a weapon before finally leaving with the others. After the explosion, the leader of the cannibals who survived managed to catch up with Sam. A fight broke out in the air duct until they ended up in the livestock room. Sam was almost a victim, but at one point, he managed to grab a knife. Sam managed to get out and catch up with Kay and the remaining people. Now their immediate and pressing goal is to journey to the precise location that Sam had previously discovered and meticulously mapped out, even though they are fully aware that they will have to undertake a very long and arduous journey on foot through the relentlessly biting cold. So that was the storyline of the movie The Colony, which was released in 2013. Hopefully you enjoyed our story this time. Alright then, thank you to everyone who has watched, and see you again next time. You're all awesome. Ciao!